Good morning, I'm Sharad Kutin and welcome to BFM's Morning Headlines. And today, the 23rd of October, starts off with rather grim news that in fact amendments to the penal code were passed yesterday. And so the Sun, not to make to find a point on it, names it as it is, gag law passed. And so there you have it, with the face of the minister in charge, Nancy Sukri, who defended the passing of all kinds of amendments, including one that will fine civil servants who leak information about the bureaucracy up to 1 million ringgit or jail them for a year. She says it's all about national security and nothing to do with corruption, though her fellow cabinet minister, Paul Loh, thinks otherwise. He says, in fact, it's a step back for the fight for accountability and transparency in government and can be misused. So clearly a dissent within cabinet. Now, on the front pages of Utusan Malaysia, very interesting, Tuntutan Melampau means extreme demands. Who is making extreme demands? According to one group, the coalition of NGOs involved in the Universal Periodic Review process at the UN are making extreme demands and they're opposed to it. So they might or might not be with the government. At any rate, they're against the Kowango group, which they say are in fact attacking the position of Islam within the country. Now, that's carried on the front pages of Sinar Harian, Tuntutun Kemango Ancam Islam. Again, it's about LGBT rights, it's about the demand for equality of all religions, and apparently, allegedly, support for apostates. So, but that's not the main story in Sinar Harian. Sinar Harian actually runs with a much more interesting story about the assembly in Selangor. Now, the assembly in Selangor is now dominated by the Pakatan Rakyat, but its backbenchers clubs has criticized the Menteri Besar for failing to live up to his promise to meet them fortnightly. They're also unhappy with his style of governance, saying it's far too corporate and there should be much more process involved, discussions with assembly people, that the legislature is in fact should be much more involved in the process of deciding on budgets and such. So inside pages, very interesting debate about democracy in Selangor. Read that. New Straits Times has a bit of a non-story. This time it's about the budget. Budget's coming up at the end of the week, and so that's something to watch. Again, concerns whether the concerns about rising costs and such will be mitigated by the budget. We have only to wait to Friday to see. Now, the Star and Harian Metro on a thematic level carry very similar stories. This is a lighter story about a mother's concern about her daughter's antics on Facebook and social media that have gone viral. Very embarrassing for her, but perhaps less tragic than this story. There you have it, the front page. Bite mark gives killer away. Now this is a story about a young girl who met somebody who's 23, slightly older than her, 8 years older than her in fact, involved in cosplay. They were friends, but he invited her to his home, attempted to rape her, and then when failing to do so, murdered her. A very sad story. It is the reality, I guess, these days with Facebook. People are meeting each other in very different ways, and can parents keep up with the many strategies that teenagers have to have a free life? I don't know. Very difficult to say. Here, the Malay Mail, all scribbled by our industrious people at the news desk. This is the story. Remember, it's got a long-running story about what happened to firearms lost by the police. As you know, the minister backpedaled on this. They weren't likely to be lost at sea. At any rate, the Malay Mail runs with this story, noting that also there you have the picture of the young 15-year-old who was murdered allegedly by her cosplay mate. Lastly, Berita Harian has, I think it's a bit of a non-story. It's about illegal guards and some dozen or so were arrested recently. Much more interesting on this side of the paper is government's attempts to deal with the fallout from the Auditor General's report and put in some sort of process to call civil servants up for wastage, mismanagement, and a lack of accountability when it comes to public funds. So there you have it, the morning headlines, 23rd of October. I'm Sharad Kutan for BFM 89.9.